motherfucking Eagle Double G. Snoop Dogg.
Hello, so this is the house that I'm making today, and it's brought to you by this guy's mustache. Thank you. So this house is from, oh Lord, I'm not starting this off well, am I? What is this from? This is from American Homes and Gardens from 1905, obviously. And this is an actual house that was built. So this book, American Homes and Gardens, was one that was in print and circulated. Do I need to explain John McIntosh? I feel like I need to explain John McIntosh. I tried to just jump into this video and ignore that, but I love him, the Toffee King, and I wanted to share that with you all. That is an ad that was actually in this magazine in American Homes and Gardens. I assume it was a magazine. Magazines back then kind of looked like books, but I'm pretty sure it was just like a magazine, kind of like Better Homes and Gardens is now. But yeah, that was an ad in that magazine, and when I saw it, I just, what the kind of balls to just be like, this is my face. I am John McIntosh, and I am the Toffee King, and you're gonna buy my toffee. I don't know. I find it funny. Nobody does that, you know? I don't know. Anyways, this house was in that same magazine as John McIntosh, and I love him, and he deserves the appreciation that he probably never got. So there we go. Anyways, moving on to what this video is actually about. So this house is from 1905, and it was an actual house, and the floor plan and description of which was included in this American Homes and Gardens magazine. So when you see the floor plan up on the screen here, the left side was the first floor and the right side was the second floor. So if you want to just, know what you're looking at. There's not too much to go into the history of the style of this house, as I don't believe this fits any particular style. The interior is described as colonial, and the exterior isn't. I mean, it's sort of Cape Cod style. It's built in Massachusetts. Also, need to clarify, I pronounced Massachusetts wrong, and I know that. It's I say Massachusetts as if there's a T there, and I know the actual way to pronounce it is Massachusetts. It's just really hard for me to say it, and I have always pronounced it Massachusetts, and I don't know why, so I'm sorry if that bothers you. Anyways, so it's sort of Cape Cod style in a way, kind of just New England, hence why I put it in Brindleton Bay, because that's very much New England to me. So very much like just American kind of style, sort of a amalgamation of some things. And what's great about this one is there's actually a very long description of the all the materials and colors that are used on the exterior and interior of the home. So I mean, I was gonna read some of the passage of that to you, but it's really kind of boring. If you want to read it yourself, you can. I'll link the book or the magazine from archive.org, of course, in the description below if you want to check that out. But essentially, everything that I'm doing for the exterior, color-wise and material-wise, is as close to I can get it as to what it actually was built as. So the roof is this weird color because it's natural shingles, and I had to Google all of these terms that they use, because I'm not, contrary to what you might think, I am not like an architecture person. I have a degree in psychology and in business. I don't know the technical terms of these things. I just have I have a big interest in architecture. So, there's the description of a lot of things. There's Flemish brown. I don't know what that is. I had to Google that. It's just brown. I don't know why they need to call it Flemish brown. It's just brown. There's other, I don't know, I can't read and talk at the same time. So there's other terms and stuff. There's bottle green, there's Flemish bond, just various terms that I had to Google. like what a dado was. You guys know what a dado is? A dado is a chair rail, basically. It's having like the wainscoting on the wall that goes up halfway or whatever. That's a dado. So that's why the interior walls, some of them have the dado and everything, because I tried to keep it as accurate to the description of the house as I could with The Sims. Obviously, some things are going to be inaccurate. I feel like I don't really need to explain that anymore because I can't copy it exactly to what the reality of it was, because this is a game. Anyways, the interior is described as colonial mostly. So what that means is it's hard to describe, but colonial style goes back hundreds and hundreds of years. This house was not built in colonial times. The original colonial style houses that were built in America are like the ones that were built in the colonies and stuff like that. Those were very simple homes. And the style of colonial has really changed over time. It's gotten much more decorated and ornamental over time. And so I think that's kind of the style that they're describing for this house is more of an ornamental type of colonial, not an OG colonial. So what that means is the like mantles and things are kind of large and have detailing that is particular to colonial style. We don't exactly have colonial mantles. That was a big thing in the description of this house that it had, apparently, was big colonial mantles for the fireplaces. So we don't really have a super colonial style mantle. The closest thing that we have is the one that I used here, which is just like the very large fireplace. And yeah, it's not, to me, it doesn't look super colonial, but this is kind of what it was supposed to look like. These images were from that same American Homes and Gardens magazine, and I use those as inspiration. So you can see here some little things that were common in early 1900 homes, and that was like chairs that don't match, but they're colonial style chairs due to the ornamentation of them. And like that fireplace there on the left side is very much colonial fireplace. So that gives you an idea. Something to know is, for some reason, the style of the time was having like no chairs that matched in your living room and like in your main sitting rooms and stuff. The chairs were not, like, the furniture didn't all go together necessarily, and I don't really know why. If someone could enlighten me on that, if you know why, like, please tell me, because I don't get it. And you might think it's weird that I'm using that wicker chair there. Actually, it's a rattan chair, but wicker chairs were very popular. If you go back to those pictures, the houses all seem to have at least one wicker chair in their living rooms. So it looks a little weird with The Sims because you're getting all the colors and you're getting all the kind of mishmash of styles. But in reality, that's what they had. They had a weird mishmash of chairs in their living rooms, and I don't know why. And obviously, with having black and white photos, they don't convey the color schemes at all, and the descriptions also don't describe the colors of anything in this book, so other than like the walls and the floors and whatnot. So it's all left up to interpretation, but we do know that a lot of these chairs had wood that was like wood armrests, wood feet on the chairs and stuff like that. Wood was definitely very present in houses like this, and leather as well, brown leather. But they also had colors, especially if you had money. A lot of your stuff was going to be colorful. So just keep that in mind if you're looking at this and saying, like, this doesn't really look realistic. This doesn't really look like it would have been from the 1900s. Think about the fact that every photo you've probably seen of most 1900s living rooms and stuff is in black and white. It's hard to know exactly what the color schemes were and stuff, but I'm sure mine's not entirely accurate. As I've said, it never is, so that's that on that. I did do quite a bit of decorating in this house simply because the photos that I saw from the American Homes and Gardens magazine, they're extremely decorated. There's a lot of, it's like maximalism. Right now we've got a lot of minimalism in our style, in like modern style, but at this time it does seem like maximalism was kind of the trend. There was just a lot of crap everywhere. Like when we get into the what do they call it, the den, which is the room to the left of this one. Well, no, wait, there, that room, this is the den. There's like a table in here where I think I do it later on, but eventually there's little stacks of books all around the edge of the table. And you might have seen in the photos that I used as reference earlier that was something that they did a lot. And I don't know why. Like, maybe if I did some really deep research, I could figure it out, but it's hard to figure these things out when, again, you're not somebody who knows how to research this stuff. I just know how to find books that have pictures, but I don't exactly know. Like, I don't know if there's a description somewhere of why this was the fashion, but they would put little stacks of books all around a table in like a main living space. Like, you know, that was the den. So that is, I'm assuming, where they would go and just hang out. I don't know what they did in the 1900s. Go and read, I guess. And I don't know why they would put little stacks of books just all around the table, kind of like you're supposed to walk around it and see what sort of books does this family read, I guess. I have no idea. So I tried to replicate that a little bit right here. Yeah, little stacks of books everywhere. I don't know why. It looks kind of messy to me, but in photos, that's what they did. The interior design, like if we could have an HGTV show that explained the interior design of early 1900 American homes, that would be invaluable to me, honestly. Any sort of HGTV show that is not horribly overproduced would be invaluable to me at this point, really, because, oh man, that network has really tanked. Speaking of which, I kind of wanted to talk about why I do these builds, why I do these houses. I feel like it's something that I've never really mentioned. I, like, as I sort of said earlier, I just have a passion for these things. Like, I genuinely just love old homes. I cannot stand the modern style right now. Like the Joanna Gaines fixer-upper, shiplap, boho chic stuff that has really just, oh my god, it's everywhere. That's all that you see now. And sort of now it's becoming a bit more 70s inspired, and which is fine, but I just don't get it. It's everywhere. I'm so tired of it. I don't know. I've always liked old houses. I've always been into houses. I used to make little houses out of dirt and bricks when I was a kid. Not like ones that you could walk inside of, like little miniature ones. I've just always been obsessed with houses, and I've always been obsessed with making them in The Sims ever since I started playing The Sims. And I know we just had the 20th anniversary of The Sims, and I didn't mention anything about it because it's not, I don't know. I'm sort of at a weird impasse with this game. It seems like the developers aren't really connecting with the fan base in the way that they think they are. And, you know, like the hot tub is really, if you want to talk about the game rather than the house right now, I'm at a weird stage with it. I don't really play this game that much anymore. Like, actually play it. I've kind of lost a lot of interest in it. I like making houses in the game, I do, but actually playing the game I get quite bored now. Whereas, you know, when I was in middle school playing Sims 2, I'd literally sit there playing it for 10 hours straight and like not get up even to go pee because I wanted to play the game that badly. I was absolutely obsessed with this game. I had that sims2.com account, and I made stories on there. I uploaded Sims. I remember I made a Miley Cyrus. Oh man, a different time really. But I made a Miley Cyrus Sim and uploaded it on there. And I remember it got like I don't know, probably a couple dozen downloads, and I was just in shock. So, yeah, my history with this game has always been sort of like a give and take thing, but I've always loved making houses here in this game. And I've sort of just combined two passions, basically, of historical homes, antique homes, vintage homes with The Sims. And I think I'm just rambling at this point. I don't really know what point I'm trying to make, but that's why I make these videos, basically, is I like to appreciate the old houses. I feel like modern houses, I've seen enough of them. I'm not interested in them. Not to be mean or no disrespect at all, but like the houses that like Little Simsy makes, I hate them. Absolutely hate them. And it's nothing personal. It's nothing about her or anything like that. It's just the sort of modern suburban track homes are just so boring to look at. Like, I grew up in Southern California. I've seen my fair share of them. I now live in Northern California, and I have seen my fair share of them. I don't want to see them in the game. They're so plain and just blah to me. These houses, these historic houses, this house wasn't a track home. This floor plan was not developed for the intention of it to be replicated multiple times over. This was for one family. This was meant for just them, specified just for them. And that's something you see less and less now, as it's very expensive. And it's not to say that this was cheap at the time. A lot of the houses that I build on this channel are kit homes, which just means that they were readily available for anyone to purchase and then hire people to build. These early 1900 houses are different in the sense that these would have been for wealthy families. They would have had an architect develop these floor plans for them, and or they would have just gone and purchased them from an architect and had it built just for their family. And these homes probably would have stayed within the family for a number of years before being sold and or turned into something else. So to me, that's a lot more interesting than a house that has been built 20 times with varying color schemes on the outside. And that's just my personal take on it. Like, when you look at kit homes, which are a similar idea, the early track homes were kit homes, basically. They were all very similar, but there were little things inside that made them very different, made them unique, made them, one of a kind, I guess. And you don't see that now. You see houses that are all the same inside and outside. And I personally find that incredibly boring. So because I can't myself go out and restore homes, historical homes and stuff like that, I don't have the means to do that. This is my little way of appreciating historical architecture and design. So is that a good enough explanation? I hope so. This video has been so much of me talking, and all I can think about is John McIntosh and his toffee, and I wonder how it did. I should research him, and I'll update you guys on what his life was like, I guess. I don't know. I'm invested now in his life. Oh, I also want to mention, this house has a really large servants' quarters. That's what this room is that I just decorated. Very big. And most likely that's where like the live-in nanny would have been, or live-in housekeeper or maid or something like that. That was common at the time, especially for families that had a large home like this. They would have had the means to have live-in help. So it's not necessarily a slave. I know when you see the word servant, that's kind of the idea you get. But they did live in the home. And it's kind of like an au pair. It's like you're getting room and board, basically, in exchange for you working and taking care of the family and helping them out and whatnot. But yeah, pretty much that is the end of the video here. I am just going to go into screenshots in a second. I don't include any of the landscaping because it's boring. It's literally just like 3 trees that I have to put in. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Enjoy the screenshots here. And I hope you have a nice day. Please subscribe if you want to. If you like this crap, then like it. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you for 1906, hopefully in a week. stay tuned. Anyways, thank you. Bye.